Behavior does not care about artist from a gameplay perspective. And these add-on changes just show that. On the Springtrap PTB, Artist has received her first changes since her initial release. A whole 7 add-ons have received slight number tweaks. That's it. Let me walk you through the changes themselves, and I'll give you my thoughts about every single one of them. First, we have the automatic drawing. This add-on received a small buff, now decreasing the time for your power to come off cooldown after your burst is integrate by 1.75 seconds instead of 1.5. This buff will not make this add-on see more use and was a waste of resources. That was mean, I take that back. The 2-second cooldown is minuscule, and using this add-on to make it better is just a waste of an add-on slot. It's simply too niche to matter. Next, we have the Untitled Agony. This add-on makes survivors hindered when they become swarmed for 1.5 seconds. This add-on has been nerfed to apply 10% hindered instead of 15. This add-on was completely fine before, and despite being strong, it was already very hard to use. Now, it's weaker and even harder to get volume from since, well, you slow yourself down while using any part of your power. On the PTB itself, there is also a completely unnecessary Velvet Fabric nerf, which is not in the patch notes. This add-on shows you the aura of the swarm for 1.5 seconds longer after a survivor starts to repel them. On the PTB, it only does that for 0.8 seconds longer. This is not the strongest add-on overall, and used to be one of the best add-ons for beginners. Probably not anymore. This add-on is mainly used for long-range snipes, which can be avoided easily by attentive survivors. But we nerfed it. Matthias' baby shoes also got nerfed, which is probably the only change I understand and I can get behind. The area in which survivors around idle crows are revealed to you has been reduced by 1 meter, making it 4 meters instead of 5. This add-on kind of had it coming. It's a little bit of a noob trap. It was a really strong add-on, but it kind of taught you bad habits, and I'm not really too mad about this one. But the severed hands had their spread radius decreased to 2 meters instead of 3. When I first read this, I didn't think it was too big of a deal, but now, if 2 survivors work on opposite sides of a gen, it doesn't activate anymore. This add-on is still insane for tunneling, and all this nerf does is reduce it to exactly that, a tunnel add-on. Thanks, man. I liked my double snipes, and I think those should stay in the game since Artist is an incredibly hard character to learn, and good players should be rewarded for being good when using good add-ons. The ink egg also got nerfed. Yes, nerfed. They reduced the idle time penalty to 1 second instead of 2, which I guess they thought would buff it, but this add-on is not used because of the extra crow, but because of the reduced idle timer. Since your cooldown for letting birds disintegrate is so much shorter than when you send them, and you don't get the movement speed penalty from shooting your birds, this add-on is often used against high-level players that leave tiles constantly. Nerfing this add-on also makes the automatic drawing from earlier worse, because its niche is now much nicher. Finally, the eerie feather has been buffed, I guess, but not really. It's more of a side grade. This add-on gives you the undetectable status effect after you send all of your available birds out for the duration of your cooldown. This came at the penalty of losing 1 bird, which made the effect easier to activate, but your power ultimately worse, and the effect shorter. Now, they removed the removal of one of your charges and left the rest of the add-on as is. So now your power is on a longer cooldown, meaning you can't use it, but your undetectable is going to be longer. What the fuck? Overall, I really do not like any of these changes. The nerfs to the lower rarity add-ons were not needed at all, and they were good add-ons in a very fine place gameplay-wise. The ink egg change just shows that the developers don't understand Artist's power and how to properly use it. The severed hands nerf shows that they just look at numbers and do not care about other things, and the feather change is just, yeah, it's just stupid. So here's what I would have done. First of all, we're just not gonna care about the yellow and below add-ons. Yellow and brown add-ons for Artists are very much fine, and despite maybe reworking Still Life Crow and Chocolate Corn, they don't necessarily need changes, especially the ones that are actually being used. So just don't touch those unless you want to buff the automatic drawing, that one is fine. Then, as our first course of action, we are going to delete the charcoal stick, obviously. Its effect is useless, and we don't need a meme add-on. It's actually worse than nothing. We're going to make a new add-on which shows you the aura of survivors for 3 seconds after you injure them with a crow from further than 25 meters away, and make it a purple. Then we're going to take the ink egg and make it a green, because I really don't get why this is a purple add-on. Yes, sure, it gives you an extra bird, but that actively makes your power worse at times. You have a longer cooldown the more birds you send out, so you very, very, very rarely want to, let alone need to use more than 3. We can keep the number change on this one, I really do not care for that. It sucks to nerf its niche, but it is niche, so yeah, doesn't really matter. Next up, the baby shoes can stay nerfed, honestly, that change is probably for the better, but the severed hands cannot stay as is. Instead of reducing the range, which is very much fine by the way, and I do not understand why they want to nerf this part, we're going to give survivors off the hook a 5-second immunity period to all sources of swarming. Done, dusted, good job me, I'm a genius. Last up for both eerie add-ons. Garden of Rot not being touched is pretty out of touch. Limofao. If you want to keep the exposed status effect on it, make it 30 seconds. Yes, I'm serious. Make the birds quicker to remove. This way, survivors have an indicator that that add-on is in play, that is not the killer running behind them sniffing their ass. But you, as a killer, have more ways of actually using this add-on, because it's really not good. Ideally, they completely rework this add-on, or switch its rarity with the unchanged severed hands. But hey, we can't have it all, I guess. Lastly, the iridescent feather. Removing the penalty is a step in the right direction, but they went about it all wrong. There's not really too many ways to go about it, but like, you get the point. Either give it a flat timer of how long you're undetectable, like 20 seconds or something like that, or remove the requirement of having to send out all of your birds. Making this add-on activate whenever your power is on cooldown, no matter what, gives so many more opportunities for it to actually be useful. And you can also use it in chase. Are my changes perfect? Yes. Should behavior hire me? Absolutely. I really hope they listen to people like me, maybe not specifically me, but players that are passionate about this killer. She is so incredibly inaccessible, and nerfing her best add-ons, which are good for a reason, instead of buffing and reworking the add-ons that literally no one uses, is the wrong way of going about her. No one wants to play her because her power is difficult and she doesn't have overpowered add-ons in the first place to make it more appealing. Like others. There is no reason to nerf any of them really, and I hope that we can have actually meaningful changes instead of these ones in the future. Artist has gone 3.5 years without any changes, and it's really painful to see that they don't understand this character at all. Behavior, if you're seeing this, please send me Oryx out so I can buy the upcoming collab skins for artists, and please do not go through with these changes. Will they kill the character? Absolutely not. She is still one of the strongest killers in the game, and will stay like that even with her base kit. But her gameplay and pick rate are absolutely going to suffer from this, because it makes her more fun add-ons worse and harder to use. I don't want my killer to be less fun and harder to use. So please listen to us and rethink your choices on these nerfs. And please make Severed Tongue base kit, thank you!
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me.